everyone, this is Mr. Debets, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to create an animation out of the graffiti lettering that you made. So first thing you want to do is open Adobe Animate. We're going to create a new file. For this file I'm just going to choose the largest dimensions, so in this case I'm going to go 3000 by 2000. Then I'm going to hit create. I'm going to zoom out so you can see my stage. Once I create, I'm going to open up two things. The first thing is going to be the graffiti piece. So I go File, Import to Stage, and then I'm going to look for this. So it's the Graffiti Ramon. It is a GIF file. At the bottom where it says Enable, make sure you enable GIFs. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to import this. Cool. It's going to have this lettering, Ramon. Down here I'm going to rename layer 1 to Graffiti Ramon. Hit OK. Alright, and then I'm going to add a new layer. Once I add a new layer, I'm going to import a photo of a spray can that I downloaded just from Google. You want to make sure that it's an outline of a spray can. So I'm going to go File, Import to Stage. Same thing. In this case, my spray can is a JPEG. So Enable. I'm going to enable JPEGs. I'm going to click on the image. I'm going to hit Open. And again, it's on a different layer, so I can treat these two things as different. So layer 2, I'm going to also rename. I'm going to rename it Spray Can. Perfect. All right, so now I have my two layers, the graffiti and I have the spray can. My next step is I'm going to do something to the spray can. So I'm going to select it. At the top here, look for Modify, Convert to Bitmap. You should look then in this Properties panel, Object, and then you're going to hit Trace. Once you hit Trace, you're just going to keep the recommended numbers here and press OK. All right, so now you should see the spray can looking something like this. I'm going to remove this second spray can. So in order to do that, I'm going to just sort of click, drag, isolate, and then I'm just going to start clearing this out of it just to sort of delete it. So again, I just sort of want to have the spray can by itself. Okay, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. Make sure that we have as much of the spray can as possible. All right, so again, you want to clean this up. I'm just going to skip that stage to move on. Once I do that, I'm going to add some color to the spray can. I'm just going to go to my paint bucket. I'm going to choose maybe just like a red, and then I'm going to fill in the red here. I'm going to choose a second color, maybe blue, then again, just to sort of give it some color. Next thing I'm going to do is now I'm actually going to select the purple from Ramon. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on my spray can, and I'm just going to add some of the purple here. So again, that's way too big. I'm going to change the size of this. So again, I'm just going to add some streak marks to make it look like it's spraying out some of the purple paint here. Great. So again, I've converted it to a bitmap. I've added some color. The last thing we want to do with this spray can is to convert it to a symbol. So again, in order to do that, I'm going to select the spray can. I'm going to go to Modify, Convert to Symbol. Symbol 1, again, I'll name it spray can. Keep it as a movie clip, and then you're going to press OK. All right. The next step is I'm going to create a mask, which is basically going to start helping us with the animation. Before I do that, I'm going to use my free transform tool, and I'm just going to rotate this to give it a little bit of an angle. I'm going to resize the can. Then again, I'm just going to sort of angle it to make it look like it's going to be spraying here. Cool. All right, once I do that, you want to go to your timeline. You're going to click on the 50th frame, hold shift, and then click on both layers. That way both are selected, and you're going to insert a keyframe. Once you insert a keyframe, we're going to add a new layer, which is going to be our mask layer. So again, I'm going to click on graffiti, go to my timeline, I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to rename this layer animation. Perfect. All right, now that I have this, I'm going to go to my first frame under the animation layer, and I am going to draw a rectangle. make sure that this rectangle is a different color than the graffiti. And then it should cover the name. So you want to make sure you have enough size to cover the name. Perfect. And then again, I'm not going to do the whole rectangle yet, just the beginning of it. Once I have the rectangle drawn, I'm going to insert a keyframe to number 1. And then I'm going to go all the way to my 50th keyframe. I'm going to insert it. And then using my free transform tool, I'm going to drag this across. Again, you want it to fit. It shouldn't be too big, so I'm going to resize this a little bit until I have it covering the name entirely. Perfect. Good, so it should look like this. The first frame, all the other frames look the same, and then the 50th, it should cover the name. All right, once we do that, you're going to right click on where it says animation on the animation layer, and we're going to create a mask. And then once the mask is created, you're going to right click on the timeline for the animation, and we are going to create a shape tween. So basically what this should do is you're now going to see the green as it moves from frames start to cover up the graffiti name here. All right, my next step is to now create the animation. So make sure that you lock the animation layer and the graffiti layer. So I'm gonna and then you wanna go back to the first keyframe where you just see part of this. And then you're gonna select your spray can. I'm gonna move this over. And then you wanna make sure that you are selected on the first frame. So I get my spray can selected, and then you just sort of wanna start aligning this. So this is where it first appears. So I'm gonna move my spray can here. Great, so spray can is now at the first frame of my timeline. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna right click, just make sure only the spray can is selected. And we are going to create a motion tween. So in this case, I have multiple layers selected, so I'm gonna click out of it. Just select my spray can, right click, create a motion tween. Again, let me just do it like this. Spray can is selected, create motion tween. Perfect. So now I have my motion tween selected. And I'm basically going to start moving the can along as it moves. So again, right now it's locked into place. I'm going to start moving my timeline. And again, you're going to start seeing the graffiti appear. As it appears, you just want to start moving the spray can. And then you should see this little path that's going to then trace and create the animation for us. So again, I'm going to drag this across. I'm going to keep going. Going until I get to the very end of the animation here. Cool. So now when I watch this, you should see it spray. Perfect. Then if you want to preview it, you're going to hit Command Enter. Jumps a little bit at the end, so I'd probably want to fix the 50th frame. But again, it's adding that effect. All right, our last step is now to add a sound effect. So do this. You want to add a new layer to your timeline. I'm going to rename it sound effect. And then with that layer selected, you want to go File, Import, Import to Stage. And then again, you want to make sure you enable the right file. In this case, it's going to be an MP3. Then I have a spray paint sound, and then I'm going to hit Open. So now when it plays, you should hear a sound effect of a spray can. The timing's a little off, so I'd probably want to go into the timeline, maybe move it around a little bit or delete some of the frames just to make sure that the sound is in sync. But again, I'm going to hit Command Enter just to preview. There you go. In order to turn it in, go File, Export. You're going to export it as a movie. And make sure the file format is a .swf. We'll name it graffiti tag. And then you're going to turn that into canvas. Nice job.